The tech industry is not in the best place right now. It isn't as bad as it was a year ago, but there are still fewer jobs available now than there normally are, especially for junior designers. This makes it a little bit harder to get into UX at the moment, but it's definitely not impossible. I've had a few people ask me recently what their strategy should be for getting into the field. So I thought about exactly what I would do if I were starting over in a bad job market. So I'm going to tell you exactly what that strategy is. This is assuming that you've already taken a UX course, you have the fundamentals down, you have a portfolio of concept projects, and you're ready to start looking for work. So let's get into that right now. The first and most important thing is to find creative ways to get experience. If you're a new designer looking for your first job, it's very unlikely that you're going to find it simply by applying to a full-time job that you find on a job board. There's just less jobs being posted right now, and the ones that are being posted often require at least a couple years of experience. It's very common that you're going to see senior UX roles being posted on these job boards. So that might leave you wondering, how do I get a job like this if I need experience doing a job to get it? Well, luckily, there are other ways beyond just a full-time job to get experience. I have a few ideas about how you can do this. The first way is to join a freelancing platform, such as Upwork or Fiverr. When you're starting out, you can target projects that pay a little bit lower because they're going to be the ones who are most likely to hire a designer with no experience. Then if you do a good job on these projects, you can get good reviews from your clients, add those projects to your portfolio, and then work your way up to better and better projects. You can even get to the point where you're working full-time on one of these platforms and get a couple of years of experience. You can then use that experience to go get your first full-time job or just continue working as a freelancer. I have some videos on my channel about succeeding on Upwork if you'd like to learn more about that. Another thing you can do to get experience is to essentially make your own job. I know this might sound crazy, but I did this when I was first starting out. So what you can do is do work for a brand new startup that doesn't actually have any jobs posted, or you can work under a more experienced freelance designer. You might have to accept that you're going to have to work for little or no money for a little while, but it can be worth it to get very valuable experience. To make this happen, what I would do is email either founders of tech startups or experienced freelance designers. Tell them that you are a new designer looking for your first real work opportunity. Explain that you've been working hard to learn UX and that you've done some great concept projects, and show them your portfolio. If you're able to, tell them that you're willing to work completely for free for 30 days. And then if things go well, you can discuss doing paid work if they'd like to continue. Try to set up a call with them, see what they're working on, and figure out if it's a good fit for both of you. If this works out, work as hard as you can for those 30 days, and there's a good chance that they'll want to continue working with you. There's even a possibility that you continue working for that startup or designer for a year or two, and then you've basically just had a couple years of what is essentially a job. But if it doesn't work out and it only lasts those 30 days, that's really no big deal because you've just gotten 30 days of real world work experience, and it puts you ahead of the other designers that don't have any. And the second thing that I would be doing if I were a new designer is to constantly be improving my portfolio. This is critical to making the first strategy work because for someone to give you a chance with any sort of work opportunity, your work already needs to look great. They need to be able to look at your portfolio and see that you are going to add value from day one, even if you don't have any real work experience yet. This might be brutally honest, but most new designers' portfolios do not give the impression that they are ready for real world work. Many new designers will make a portfolio in one attempt and then just go right on to looking for work from there. You need to pay close attention to what a great junior level portfolio looks like and honestly assess if yours is on that level. To see some great portfolios, I would recommend searching on YouTube, Junior UX Portfolio That Got Me Hired. There's a lot of people that have made some great videos really breaking down those portfolios, so it'll give you a really good chance to see what they look like. After reviewing many portfolios myself, I would say that some of the biggest issues for junior designers are poor UI and visual design skills, not clearly showing the problem that they're solving and how they solved it, and bad scannability in their case studies. For some more info on this, I would recommend checking out some of the portfolio reviews that I have on my channel. And the third part of the strategy is to network as much as you possibly can. During a bad job market, it's critical that you hear about as many opportunities as possible. In order to do that, you need to get to know more people in design or tech in general. Now, if you want to meet more people, you have a couple of options. The first is in-person networking. To do this, I would recommend going on meetup.com and finding tech meetups in your city. Go to as many as you possibly can and tell people about your situation. Ask them about what they're working on and really try to get to know them on a personal level. Try to connect with them on LinkedIn, email, or even Instagram. If you form a good connection with them, there's a really good chance that you will be top of mind if they ever hear of some sort of work opportunity that could be a good fit for you. It's also a good opportunity to find someone who could potentially be a mentor for you, which can be critical in navigating the design field. Another way that you can network is to reach out to people on LinkedIn. On there, you can talk to startup founders, full-time designers, or freelance designers. You can send them a message and tell them you're interested in what they're working on and would love to learn more about it. And then you can ask if they'd be willing to get on a quick 15 to 20 minute call with you where you ask them some questions and give them a little bit of a background as to what you're working on. And maybe if it's a call with a designer, ask them some questions and try to get their advice on some things. The important thing here is to network as often as you possibly can and just have more people know who you are. You're also going to want to have follow-up conversations with the people that you meet on these calls. A couple ideas for how to do that would be maybe asking them a few more questions a couple weeks or months later. Maybe ask them to grab a coffee with you if you're in the same city, or potentially send them an article that they're interested in based on something they said on that call. It might seem a little bit intimidating to reach out to people at first, but you'd be very surprised how many people are very friendly and willing to help out a new designer. The fourth and final part of the strategy is more mindset related. And that is to accept that the journey might be difficult for a while. You might be wondering why I'm including this, since it's not an actual strategy that has steps to it. But if you can just completely acknowledge that it's going to be difficult and that's completely normal, you will be much less likely to quit. Quitting, of course, is the most reliable way for you to fail at becoming a full-time UX designer. People will often quit at this because it's just very difficult to find a job and they just think they don't have a knack for UX. Just remember that it's a struggle for most designers to get into the field. I know it certainly was for me. And when we're in a bad job market, it might be a little bit more of a struggle than it normally is. If you keep at this, continue improving your skills, networking, and finding unconventional ways to find work, I can almost guarantee that you will eventually succeed. Being the kind of person who does not quit is the most important aspect of becoming a designer in a bad job market. I hope that information was helpful. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching.